Welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast where superheroes exist and Stephanie's not looking and comic book talk is his norm. I'm your host, Mo Crosby. I'm back again for another week with Stephanie and James to discuss Disco. Episode 3 for season 3. How did we feel about the episode? I think I should just start.
I pull up my notes. That's why I wasn't looking at the
screen. Oh, we have notes. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. Well. By notes, I just mean my live reacts in the.
Oh yeah. Pull those out because yes, we will need those. Because honestly, those are I live for them. I live for them.
For her live reacts.
Seriously, for Disco and Picard, her live reacts. No, her live reacts made Picard fun.
Are they not fun?
No. The show is fun, but they just elevated the show. It does something else to the show.
Well, I'm happy to be of service.
glad to have you. Glad for your reacts too. Seriously, because they're really fun. Like reading, it's like because I watch it early and then everyone is discussing it. Like all the fuddy duddy people are being fuddy duddy, and then here you come, like super excited about like really little stuff, and it's so exciting. And I'm like, yes. Like I was excited about that too. Like finally, someone who understands my excitement, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So yes, thank you. So again, how did we feel about the episode in general? Like just the whole thing.
I felt like it was really hyped up by Patrick.
Well, there's a lot of things.
I love you, Patrick, but you hyped this episode.
Oh, he's not here, James. He's not here.
We'll see.
Okay, let's wait. Let's wait till the end. Let's wait till close to the end and see what happens with that. But yeah, go ahead, Stephanie. I didn't even cut you off.
I think it was a good episode, right? But I think episode 2 was way better. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't like if you look at my live reacts to this episode compared to episode 2. Like
episode 2, yeah, it's yes. That's fact.
I think overall, like we made progress. Like we're moving forward, we're getting some flavor of what season 3 is going to be like.
Right.
There were some exceptional lines, but there were not as many like cool moments as there were in episode 2. How do you feel about that?
I liked having everyone back together.
Yeah,
and seeing a montage of what happened with Michael.
Yes, I'm grateful that was a montage.
I'm kind of sad it wasn't the whole episode, but it's fine. It's whatever.
I'm sure they're gonna have to dive into more of that stuff.
Of course. Oh, like this episode didn't mention that enough. The year. Yeah.
I've been looking for you all this time.
It was a little dramatic. This episode was a lot of dramatic. It was very dramatic.
I mean, I want to throw Michael just the tiniest bone of like a year in your comfort familiar environment is not very long. A year in a totally foreign environment probably feels a lot longer, but it was still very dramatic.
Yeah, it was.
They've alluded to too much happening that year.
Right.
Don't have warp drive, but
yeah, that's fair. Totally fair.
Like how many little let's do it like that one thing that we did in the past were there? Like 20?
It was a lot. And I'm saying how many runs could they have made? Because now, okay, first of all, she's a Starfleet officer that's a
courier?
A courier.
That's a problem.
I wanted so much to give her the benefit of the doubt for not, for the fact that the Federation doesn't exist. But if you've been, for as long as she's been a Starfleet officer, a year shouldn't really change you that much.
Yeah.
You could find something to fill in during that year. If it was 2 or 3 or 4, then that would make sense into her gradually, descending into this person that she is now.
I feel like a lot can happen in a year. Like you can change a lot in a year. What doesn't make sense to me is that somebody who wasn't just a part of Starfleet, but was like that was her. That was the defining.
That was her
character, was that she was a Starfleet officer, and so for her to kind of change course and accept the courier life, I can totally see that happening in the course of a year. But I would have expected it to be more like at the tail end of the year, not that she's been doing it the entire time. The way the montage played out, it looks like she just.
It looked like she started.
Yeah.
Maybe
a month or two of her trying to work with finding these 2 Federation ships that are out there, and
yeah.
I mean, because they did also say that the reason she became a courier was because she wanted to get information. So that could, I mean, but then again, the way they, like I said, the episode was a tad dramatic because the way they go into all the, like James was saying, let's do it like we did it this time. Let's do it like we did it, like you remember that run in 2044, like in that sector. And I'm like, if your reasoning was for information, how at some point you had to have just said, forget this and just jump, like really dive into this life to, like really accept it. So I'm going to say that's what happened.
Yeah. I feel like in their effort to establish that her and Book have built a rapport, they swung too far on that.
Yes.
And it Michael is definitely a character who believes the ends justify the means, right? And so to some extent, like I can totally understand that it's in her character to agree to do something questionable if she thinks it will serve Starfleet in the long run.
Right.
But what they actually ended up demonstrating is that she enjoyed the means more than she cared for the ends.
Yes, that's what it looked like.
Right? Especially if you're, doing it with a handsome, dashing man with a fun accent, you can get caught up in that. And so I don't know if that's where they're going. They definitely have put some chemistry between Michael and Book.
Right.
But all of the plan, like if in a year for you to have memorized what all of those different strategies are, you're spending more time currying than you are trying to find information.
Yes. So I would like to say, while they didn't tell us exactly how much time she spent currying or how many runs they made a lot of runs. They made a lot of runs, and I think they just
a lot of time practicing for no reason.
Right, and I think they again, like as you said, just trying to build chemistry or show chemistry, because it's important to have our leading character have chemistry with someone else that isn't on the ship. That at the end of the episode is going to go.
She needs a love interest every season.
I don't, and that I will never understand. It's like, does that have to happen? Because this was kind of also weird because it was like then they did the will they won't they. It's like, will they won't they, like I just zipped up your new snazzy.
Do you not know how to work a zipper? Why is that necessary?
And
it up this far.
Right. The scene was definitely necessary, so we get the like eye contact and the will they won't they. Is he gonna like? I think that was exactly what that was for, because it was. You're right. It was exceptionally stupid. The scene that I did enjoy. Okay, I'll just go ahead and ask you guys what scene did you most enjoy in this episode?
Really?
It's gotta be the that 16-year-old kid.
I definitely, the scene that got the most reaction for me is when Saru is explaining to Michael that the kid has a symbiont on it. I literally, James had to like pull away from me because I screwed it up. I think for me the best scene of the show was that moment on the bridge where Saru tries to pause the action so that they can talk about who's taking the captaincy.
Yes.
In front of everybody, stops the conversation and says, like, it's you. It's always been you. I don't know if it's ever me. It's you. And I really, it was definitely adding to the flair of the dramatic of the episode, but I really appreciated that, like, at least, if nothing else, Michael arrived on the scene and was able to, I kind of expect that she came to that conclusion before they even showed up, that like, if I get reunited with Discovery, like I won't, that's not something I'm interested in anymore.
Right.
Just that she showed up and she saw that like Saru did the job and he got them through that hard spot. He should be the one to be the captain. Although that also kind of played into the weirdness of the timeline of like, for Discovery, it hasn't been that long. So I don't know why they were all so dramatic and emotional about finding Michael again. It's been a day. And you're acting like Saru has led them through a 5-year war or something.
Right.
But that scene I really appreciated that scene of her just totally acknowledging that Saru is the one.
That's who it's supposed to be. Like I said, the show, this episode was very dramatic. I'm not gonna leave that out. But as I did enjoy that scene a lot, Michael, I like that it wasn't even a thing. It was a thing, but I like that it wasn't like a back and forth. It was just straight up, hey, look, it's like.
And the crew responded, right? Like
yes, 100%
faces, and they were all emotional too. Like they, especially Tilly, like you could see in Tilly's face that, like, yeah, that's my captain. Like,
it was. I think for Tilly, it solidified that moment they had, that very endearing moment they had in the episode prior. What was it? Keep Talking, Ensign. Like it solidified that, and for seriously, and for everybody else, it was like, okay, like. I think everybody else just automatically sees it. Someone would have thought maybe, I think the show it would have been interesting if the show teased a little like, but I think it was really good. We didn't need anything extra because the episode is a lot and that just made it, that was quick and straight to the point. I really enjoyed that scene, the whole, like you said, the atmosphere from everyone else. It was a little thick.
My live react when that scene started, I was like, does Starfleet have a class on having the most dramatic conference ever? Like, why are they having this conversation in the bridge in power poses? Like, there are tables on this ship. We've seen them. Like, sit down.
Seriously. I did like when Michael came on the ship and like she was hugging everyone, and then there was this thing with her and Giorgio. It wasn't like it was like Giorgio kind of like, I felt like it was a sigh of relief. Like, it doesn't matter what universe I'm from, I still love Michael, and it was like but it's not like, but you're still not my Michael.
I'm here so you can see that I care that you're here, but I'm not gonna let anyone else see that I'm here.
And
to acknowledge that I care.
I love. Out of all the dramatic things, that was the most subtle thing and the best thing to happen, because it was just a very subtle look between the two of them. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. What did you like so much about the 16-year-old?
I just love the brilliant, like, I'm figuring everything out.
And sabotaging everything.
And then getting caught. And just like the 16-year-old.
What did you think about this is something that James and I disagreed about in the episode.
So now, let's get to that part.
Is when they roll up on Earth, and Earth responds with a
with force
defense system.
Right.
What did I disagree?
What did you think about that?
I don't remember what you're.
He was not pleased.
Oh, yeah. It did seem like 100 years of collapse is a pretty big change
for whole planet.
For them to respond that way to a Federation ship coming back.
They did also. Well, you're right, but in that again, there was a lot of talking and a lot of explaining why. This episode had everything that happened had this is why, or we're gonna tell you why. And I felt like when that happened, it was like, okay, well, by the way, we would let you in, but first we don't see you in the records anywhere. Oh yeah, we're our mission was classified. Blah blah. So whatever happened in season 2 came back to bite them in the butt. And then it was like, another reason why we can't like automatically just let you in because you say you are who you say you are is because, like the Federation is dead, and anyone that anybody could pilot, could have these ships. So, and this is where I kind of like I'm lost, because in this it said every ship, right? So was it every ship that was in warp?
I think Saru was just riffing.
Well, no, that's what Michael said too in her brief. Yeah. So I think it's just the ships that were at warp that blew up.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Which is why there's still the lithium around. It's just not as useful.
Oh.
But it's crazy though. Again, maybe it's because the visuals just showed all the ships. Again, when Michael was talking, the visuals showed all the ships just stable. Like nothing was. It looked like nothing was moving, but I guess they can't really show ships in warp blowing up.
That would be tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess just for visuals.
And also the aliens in that episode, right? Are like, you couldn't have shown up this fast without dilithium powering your warp drive. Like there's still warp can exist in this world, but something happened years ago that made most of dilithium blow up.
Right.
Moment in time.
I think till we get to that point of the why, I think there's always gonna be things that will happen that we can't, we won't be able to agree with, like Earth just saying, hey, we don't care about anything else, we just want to protect ourselves, and so everybody could die. Like, I'm like,
who said in the chat that Earth is the white people of the galaxy?
I think it was, let me go look.
And I was not surprised in the least. Like, I kind of anticipated, like, okay, so if the Federation was or Starfleet is based on Earth, and Starfleet is no longer a thing, they are now probably one of the most vulnerable planets in the entire galaxy.
Right.
Because previously they had opened their doors to literally anyone is welcome on Earth, and now they don't have their infrastructure to keep people safe on Earth anymore. And Earth is supposed to be paradise, so there isn't a lot of military presence anyway. And so the full pendulum swing into over-militarized planet makes sense to me, but also Earth is the white people of the galaxy. On point. Whoever said that, you're not wrong. I think it was Patrick.
It could have been Patrick. It's a lot that was talked about, so I can't really scroll through. But no, honestly, that I kind of like agree with James, because like it just seems like such a hard shift and such a sudden, again, because that's what 100 years inside of all of it is just so hard. But I want to give the writers, and I want to give I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they know what they're doing, and we'll revisit Earth later on, and certain things will start to come out. So that's I'm not gonna pull on that thread too much, because again, it's you start thinking about things, and you know next episode happens and it's like, oh, that was bullshit, and I'm just gonna leave it alone until like maybe the end. What something else happened that was really cool. When Book first came on the ship, I thought that was a cool moment with him and like Giorgio, her mom.
Oh yeah.
It was such a mom thing. Like, is that your girlfriend? No, it's not my girlfriend.
Well, and that contributed to the will they, won't they?
Yeah, it did.
But also, like, Philippa also acknowledges, like, Michael cannot spend time in proximity to a male without catching feelings for him. And she's just suddenly calling that out.
I mean, she did let a whole Klingon spy infiltrate the ship. Yeah, so
love.
Yeah, so a whole thing happened. Like, let's not.
I kind of wish there's no reason for this scene to actually happen, but I would die if they did a scene of if Book and Michael do start dating, the scene of like, can you explain your past relationships to me?
Oh man, that would be so great, because now you have to tell.
How do you explain that you fell in love with a Klingon spy who was medically altered and insane? And
it would be funny.
No, there's no reason to, but I would like.
I mean, it would be. It's not. It makes no sense. It would make no sense to the show, but it would be so hilarious because you have to. Yes, it would be a good short. Also,
I want to throw back to I sassed you really hard after the end of episode 1 because you were like, "How much time has passed? Her braids are so long." And I was like, they don't have leaves in the future. And then we get that montage where they 100% like try to play it off that Michael's hair just grows that fast.
Yes, they did. It's like super long, and you did. So thanks. You know what? I appreciate that. It's not an apology, but I'll take it.
My like little mental canon is like she's really doing those courier jobs just to afford going to the salon every few months.
Because it's really short in the beginning, then it's like a little
like
puff,
immediately down to here,
and then it's a fro, and then it's And I'm
like that's not how hair works.
No, it's not. But you know, I guess in the future, like hair grows like super fast because like the atmosphere is different. You know, oxygen is like a little cleaner, so it's like we're just right. You know, it takes a pill and voila, our hair. Like seriously,
I just wanted to acknowledge that.
I can't wait till we get into that. No, we're not gonna get there. We're still here in the pandemic. Okay, so can we acknowledge what was this? Was the guys from what was his name? The villain of the show. He escapes me.
Oh gosh, Flyboy.
Yeah, and it's like because he looked like a fly. He looked like a fly, like all those eyes, and I'm like,
I was legitimately shocked when they took his helmet off.
Also, how did Philippa know? How did she?
I don't think she did. I think she was just willing to kill him.
Huh? Oh wait, so
No. I wasn't surprised that Philippa took the helmet off. I was surprised to find what was underneath the helmet.
I'm like, I thought she had an inclination. And when I was watching, I'm like, she probably had an idea. No, you're just saying she just wanted to kill him.
I think she didn't care.
She's like,
I think she was like, either I'm going to find out what's actually underneath this helmet, or this person is dead and we can move on with our lives. And I'm okay with the outcome.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say his ships, you know, the people he came with didn't care. There were other raiders didn't care. Right. Yeah. Which is bullshit because he ended up speaking for everybody on Titan.
The whole planet.
So I guess your life is that important.
Yeah, and that was a little weird. Yeah,
you made the deal seriously because you made the deal for everyone, but you're here telling me, well, bullshit.
Well, yeah, it doesn't mean that you're trying to tell the truth. Like you could have been straight up lying.
Right. The plan, the plan, and Saru doing the thing with the ship.
The part that Patrick would be ranting about right now, if you were here with us.
Actually.
Why was he upset about?
Exactly. What was he upset about? Was he upset about Saru putting the ship in between?
So Patrick was furious that Saru would agree to put all of the dilithium, what they've just discovered is an incredibly rare resource, onto Book's ship, having never met Book before.
Yes.
He thought that was a terrible tactical decision. No captain should have made that decision.
I think it's a brilliant tactical decision because
I thought it was a great tactical decision. You see, I think this is what we're gonna find out is what sets Saru apart from our traditional captains and like a Kirk who would go off on his own, or Archer who would go off on his own, or Lorca who would kill everybody. But
and there's no reason for Saru not to trust Michael. Right? It's literally been a day since they agreed to jump into the future together. There's no
the only part of it I think is not as tactical as it could be is the size of the security team. I believe he says he only put 2 security team guarding it, which is just too small.
Right.
One guy could take out 2 people, especially when he's 900 years in the future and has technology you don't have. Should have been a bigger security team, but otherwise the plan makes sense.
And I think him trusting Michael in turn trusting Book or Booker. I thought that was pretty
weird. Why did they add the ER on the end of his name?
Saru probably is super formal.
Because I heard your complaint.
Not enough of a change.
No. I think it was just Saru. Everyone else. No. It was Saru and everyone else on the ship.
Lieutenant Booker.
Oh yeah. I think that was to make him seem more Starfleety.
How is Book any less of a Starfleet name than Booker?
Maybe Booker's actually his name, and Book is just the nickname everyone calls him.
The cool nickname that he wants to go by, because Booker is like nerdy. I don't know. No, because Booker zips up his
oh my gosh,
uniform.
Stop.
Book just.
And so then the plan, like, what did we think about Michael? I'm bringing this back. This is dumb.
No, don't cut off my Booker thing.
No, stop. About Michael trusting that Saru would figure out that she was
right.
Needed him.
I thought that was a little of a stretch.
Super stretch.
I'm like, what if he doesn't? Because again.
It didn't seem like he'd figured out anything.
No.
If Philippa hadn't been on that bridge, he would not have done it.
No, he wouldn't. I honestly don't. I even think Philippa being on the bridge confused him a little bit, like because he was a little like he seemed for the first time since he's changed. I think he seemed very not sure because he's always never not been, he's always been not sure or he's always been scared, and then he changed and he's been very like sure of everything moving forward, and then for the first time since the change, I think they wanted to show the added level of, oh, he's a captain now. He has lives, so he can't just think about himself anymore. But he just seemed really not sure, and I didn't like that.
Well, it's interesting because they nod to it in their conversation between Saru and Michael about how because I don't remember what the decision was, but he disagreed with Michael on something adamantly, and his explanation was like, I am now a captain. Like I have to factor in every single life on this vessel, and which establishes I'm not going to make decisions the way that I used to. I'm in a new territory now. And then Michael immediately puts him in a position where he has to compromise that, and he does it. And that's an interesting little character development for him of figuring out when you say something as a captain, it carries more weight. So do you mean it?
That's interesting. I think it's going to be interesting watching it play out, because I think what could piss off a couple people is Michael will be. It's going to be a Michael show but Saru as captain, and I'm saying that like it's not already a Michael show. I'm saying it like Michael is going to be doing a lot of things that Saru is going to have to polish later,
deal with, and honestly, that's a huge part of being in leadership. Is taking the situation that the people beneath you create and punishing where necessary, polishing where necessary, and not necessarily letting the person on the other side know that you weren't in agreement about what happened.
Right.
And so it's interesting that we get the behind the scenes of that, because we don't often get that.
No, we don't. It's because it's usually the captain doing things, and then the captain just figuring out, he messes up and then he fixes it, and that's usually what it is. Now it's oh, number one is gonna be the Kirk of the show, right? Yeah, and it's gonna be funny seeing Kirk, because I feel like what Michael did is a Kirk move, or do I say Kirk? Picard? Kirk. Yeah, it's 100% a Kirk move, because Picard would actually try a little more diplomacy.
Totally.
It was 100% a Kirk move, and it's and that could allude to the year. Now she's just making decisions. But then again, the seasons Discovery starts with Michael making a decision. So it's what's really changed?
Just the setting.
Right.
Honestly, right? Michael is reckless the entire time.
Yeah.
Her recklessness creates as many problems as it solves.
Right. Because literally season 1, episode 1 is the Vulcan hello. She does that. And then boom, the whole war. And then season 2, where she comes up with this crazy idea to capture the angel, and then to, it's that whole thing and control. And here we are in season 3, and Michael episode 3, and here we go.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
I'm really hoping that they're setting Saru and Michael up for those kinds of conversations of Michael, I know a lot has happened to you over the last year, but you have lost your roots. You have strayed from the path.
Right.
And now that I am your captain, I actually can try to rein you in, right? Because previously they were equals, or they're peers, and so. They had an odd affection where they influenced each other, but now Saru's role is to, for lack of a better word, disciple her and train her, and he's responsible for her actions. And so I really hope he's gonna try to play that nurturer, mentor role and try to bring her back to we're trying to rebuild the Federation, so can you act like a Starfleet officer for 10 seconds?
Right.
Can you do that for us?
It's funny because I think they actually started that conversation, or started having by the way, this is what's gonna happen a lot at the end of the episode, where he's putting together Giorgio's Philippa's telescope, and they had that conversation. He's I see a lot has happened, and we take your time, and we'll be here. Just, you know, I think that's the start of the conversation because, like, as you said, she's gonna probably do something a lot, and then he's gonna be like, okay, look, I know I told you to take your time, but seriously,
but like a little less,
please, like, hurry it up a little, like just a little bit. You don't have to rush it, but just, you know, put some pep in your step. And
I need to see progress.
Right. Like, yo, I said take your time. Here you are. You just went far left. Like, yo, bring it back.
Yeah.
But the plan was, again, I don't think we knew intricate details of the plan. It was just, oh, by the way, this is the plan, and boom, they captured them. And I was like, oh, okay, that wasn't cool. We didn't see them get on the ship. You know, we didn't like. But then again, I guess I'm so used to Discovery being like super action, like, oh, we see almost everything that happens in it. And, you know, it was kind of different because what they showed was the ship and Saru trying to make a decision and all the things that had to go in with the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, Michael appears with the bad, you know, with the big bad.
I wonder if that is setting the tone of like what we just talked about of like, is this a Michael show? Is this a Saru show?
Right.
We have thoroughly established Michael's recklessness. Do we need to see it in action, or can we just focus on the aftermath now?
Right. And hopefully this brings us, because again, I think this season was billed as a, you know, ensemble bridge kind of crew thing, and I think hopefully, you know, they're gonna have a lot more where we have bridge interactions or conversations going on the bridge, just because, or, you know, like other characters talking, because again, the way the episode ends, it ends with like the bridge crew like kind of bonding a little bit. But I'm jumping too far ahead, but let's get back to there was one thing I want to talk about. Can we just acknowledge the leader of Earth? Do I call the leader of Earth or Earth's leader just being super like
the president of the defense team?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I loved her.
What about her? You loved her?
I loved her. I mean, again, I acknowledged Earth's shift, but I loved her. I thought if anyone was going to be like, if they were going to show someone be super stern and I just loved the way they played her. I loved everything, every decision she made, because it's one thing to be the president of the defense team and have your red shirts go aboard the ship, and it's one thing to go yourself and to make sure, you know, everything's copacetic. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty cool that she came aboard herself. We didn't really get to meet the rest of the team. We just met the one. You know, we met them. Did I say them or they? Because that is one of the non-binary or characters that we're supposed to be seeing.
So we don't know for the 16-year-old. We don't really know. They are referred to as a she.
Yeah.
Historically, Trill identifies the gender of their current host.
Okay, so
they it's not that Trill are non-binary. I would say more that it's that Trill are gender fluid in that they fully embrace their male and female pasts.
Okay.
And they don't let those things. Well, Dax talks a couple times about how, like, you know, my third host was a husband and he was such a man, right? Like, so like there are a couple of those quips in there, but she's also shown like fully accessing her male traits and her female traits, for what that's worth. So I don't know that Trill count as non-binary. Okay,
so I guess, but it'll be interesting seeing how they play this character, because again, when we find out that, I did love her banter with Stamets in the lab. I thought it was pretty cool how she called him out on almost everything.
Why did he immediately spill all the beans to her?
Wasn't that what Tilly was kind of saying to him? Like, hey, she's 16. How else do you make a 16-year-old? Like, you know, I don't know, but yeah, you're right. Like, what if she wasn't a good person?
Aliens, I mean, they're not actual aliens, they're humans, but like an alien force a foreign force just boarded our ship without our consent, is rifling through all of my stuff, and I'm just going to immediately bring the child into the fold? Like, that's not a plant?
Yeah, yeah, right. Could have been a plant, could have been anything, and he just immediately like, oh, by the way, Discovery travel.
I'm Simmons, and I'm super cute and wholesome.
And here we go.
Come with me.
I make this happen. I'm like, yo, really? Like,
yeah, I am probably the most valuable asset on this ship in this galaxy, and I'm just gonna reveal that.
But right, it was super cool though that he did that. She sent the message as one of her former. That was I was not expecting that because apparently he's dead.
Yeah.
Earth Lady's like, yeah, he's dead. Well, he's been dead for a while now, and it's like, oh well, no, he's not because I am him. He's me.
I'm very interested to see how they develop, like what we learn about Trill society.
Right in the what 900 years that we haven't.
Yeah,
that's
super interesting. It's super interesting that we get to discover more about Trill through the lens of people who have no idea who Trill are.
Right, because they haven't met or really interacted with anyone on the show. I think
it predates Trill joining the Federation.
Yes, so this is going to be really good.
Hopefully. I do agree.
They do have that sphere of information, right? Like they did learn about the Trill.
They haven't necessarily accessed that information for themselves. I do agree.
They've had it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. But Patrick pointed out that it's kind of like a diminishing of a race. Like it is a little unfortunate that they reintroduce an alien race via a human host, which has, from canon, nebulous implications, right? Like humans, as far as we know, can't host symbionts for very long. Right. So it's kind of a weird scenario, and it is a little unfortunate that they're backtracking what's cool about Trill.
Yeah, that was something that was revealed in DS9 when they were trying to find a host for Dax, I believe.
Oh, right, the hostage situation?
Yeah. But I think they still balance it out by saying she can't access any of the memories.
Not properly.
Not properly. Like she clearly has more knowledge than she should, but she can't interact with the previous host. Like,
oh snap! Okay, so this is where I cheated a little bit because I always watch the previews.
Yeah.
Next, and I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but there's something very interesting that's gonna be happening with that.
I would assume if they're gonna drop that bomb at the end of the episode, that's gonna be a big theme of the next episode.
And honestly, this just struck me. But one of the things that's supposed to happen, I think, a year after you get your symbiote, is you're supposed to have an interaction where all of the the personalities of your previous hosts go into a bunch of your friends and you interact with them for a day.
Does that exist anymore? Do they have the telepaths still?
But if it doesn't happen, then there's problems with
right, it gets just the unity doesn't solidify.
It may have already happened, or maybe that's why she can't access the memories because the previous host died like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, good catch.
Was it 12?
No, it's 12 years.
12 years,
yeah. Oh, no. The message is 12 years old.
Yeah, the message is 12 years.
The message is 12 years old. The host died. Yeah, the host died 2 years. The guy died 2 years, and the message was 12 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say if the teenager got the symbiont as a literal baby, that would fly like that would be bananas.
Yeah, 2 years ago, like for age 14 would make sense, I guess. Was she 16 or 17?
She's about 16. Yeah, she's about 16. Yeah,
we don't really know what age Trill can accept symbionts because when the point in which we know about Trill society, it's the government is so corrupt and is doing so much to try to keep people from knowing how. Yeah. Like they don't want people to know how it actually works. So the fact that you can't get a symbiont until you're in your early 20s doesn't actually mean anything. DS9 reveals. So who knows when you could actually bond with a symbiote?
They were just trying to be very careful to not put immoral people,
right,
or people that, like, I mean, the teenage years, you got a lot of hormones, at least in humans, right? So
but that's a super interesting. This is so off the rails, but like, how interesting would it be for a Trill who did get a symbiont at the age of 2? You're 2 years old and you have 50 years of life experience. Like, imagine telling a 2-year-old to not stick his finger in a socket when he knows exactly how the socket works.
Right.
That seems like it's probably too early though. Like I feel like you
probably have to go through puberty for the pouch to develop properly.
Yeah. So it's gonna be like, I think what they have done is I think they've just opened up a set of possibilities for themselves where it could be really good and really interesting with how they do things, or it could go south. I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful with this and with how they're going to do it. But again, I saw the preview and it was, again, but in the preview, it's a bunch of action shots. So there's not a lot of story. So I don't really know exactly what's going on. It's just action. But it did look cool. Is there anything else that we've left out?
Dad, 5 more minutes. So when the team finally gets access to Earth and they're walking,
yes. So yeah, the end.
I super love that they kept something there for the staff to see, and you know, and that the tree is there, and they all have these memories under the tree that unifies them as a group. I think that's a critical moment for them as a crew.
Yes.
And then Saru calls down and is like, "You need to come back." And Chili's like, "Can we just have 5 more minutes?"
It's like, you know what? We have work to do.
Further establishing this adorable relationship between Saru and Tilly.
Right. We're gonna see a lot of that. I'm hoping. Question. So Michael didn't go down?
No.
Did anyone care that, you know, she's like, oh, I just want to see it up here with you? Or is it?
Does she have a lot of attachment to Earth?
She was really young. She was really young when she.
I don't know that Earth means anything to her.
Right. I guess it was for everybody else. She wanted that to happen for everybody else.
I think I understand her reluctance of, you know, maybe she does have some memories on Earth, but at this point they're so painful because they just lead to everything she's lost, right? Like my memories of Earth predate who I identify to be my actual family. And remind me of the woman I just lost, right? Who just died in front of me. And it reminds me of the brother I'll never get again. So it makes sense to me that she wouldn't go down to Earth.
Okay. I mean, she was adding to the fact that she was raised on Vulcan, so that's there. Yeah, she probably doesn't want to explore her ties. Yeah, she probably doesn't want to explore her ties to Earth. I can't blame her for that.
Yeah. Especially if you find out it's not anything that it doesn't represent what she wanted to, because she did say that, like, I'd been trying to go to Earth, but it wasn't possible until you're here. But then to find out that it isn't even what you were looking for.
Right. I mean, Starfleet is still there. You know, the buildings are still there. I guess the tree's still there, but I guess the connection isn't there anymore. In fact, Starfleet doesn't exist, so you can't really go down and be like, hey, do you guys know this person? Or what's the story on this person? Because then, you know,
I wanted the groundskeeper to be in the background. You remember?
I was thinking the same thing about, like, that groundskeeper needs to show up. Like, he should be dead for like
1,000 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's. Oh, there was a James put in the chat that amazing mushroom line from Philippa in the beginning.
Oh yes, it was something about warp. It was something about warp, or something about dilithium, and Philippa sasses. It's like,
that's impossible, says the man who jumps this ship through mushroom space.
Yes, I loved it. Like,
she's so good for one-liners.
Yeah, I think, and it's looking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say the context was Stamets was replying to all the dilithium blowing up at once.
Yes,
possible.
And she's like, really?
Check yourself.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You should never speak about anything being impossible. It's like, how dare you? You literally have sockets in your hand. Like, no, sir, stop it. Like, I get it. It was fun. It was funny. And so this was something I think you had mentioned, Stephanie. You were like, I don't know if I really want her on the show anymore, but it looks like she's going to be on this. It looks like she's going to be on the season, and she's just going to be there for like zingers.
Yeah. And honestly, like, her zingers are great. So as long as she's delivering those, that's fine. Yeah,
because she did have the great interaction with Book, and then she had the thing with the space dude, and she had the thing with, you know, and then she had the confrontation with Saru. I believe she's there. You know what? I think I like her there. I think I want her there, but she's there to be the far side of it, where Michael could be in the middle,
and Saru is on the other side of it.
Yeah, and she's the other side.
I will say that one thing about her in this episode I did not like was putting on the Admiral uniform.
Oh yeah.
And then the Defense Force shows up and they're talking with Saru.
Yeah,
like,
makes
you don't
sense.
talk to the captain.
Yeah. It was kind of weird, but I mean, it's Philippa. She's not. It's mirror. I believe if it was our Philippa, she would have been like, you know what, Saru, go ahead and take this. But it's mirror Philippa. She's just She doesn't care.
Yeah. Also, why would an admiral agree to go on a classified over 100-year-long mission? You don't send admirals on those types of missions.
Mm-mm.
It's very weird.
Unless she's like a super science officer and she had to be there.
Right. I appreciate the levity that Georgiou often provides, but I don't want them to rely on her, like from a writing perspective, I don't want them to rely on her character to get the job done. Like if she's always the one who pushes things to the next level in order to get resolution, I think that's going to get tired pretty quick, which is what happened in both episodes 2 and 3. Right. Things were kind of like treading water until Georgiou showed up and did something totally asinine, which then allowed the plot to move forward. And if they do that all the time, it's going to get boring.
But I don't think necessarily, you know what? Let's go back to it. I don't think she made this happen on this episode. I think she questioned Saru and she told him to do it. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. And I think
negotiations would have gone bad.
Oh yeah, the negotiations
would have totally derailed had she not ripped that guy's helmet off. Okay. And in the bar, Tilly and Saru would have been captured and killed if she had not been part of the bar.
There you go. So a lot of plot moving forward, a lot of plot device, a lot of plot pushing is right now currently her. I still have a crush on her, so I can't really see it until you just pointed that out.
At least you can admit your weakness.
No, till you pointed that out, I was like, oh no, she's perfect. Like, what are you talking about? And then it's like, oh,
from a character perspective, that's fine. I just mean from a mechanical writing perspective, we need someone else to step up into the spotlight. We need other people to have character growth. So that no one person, right? Because there's going to be a moment where Georgiou isn't there.
Speaking of, Detmer was she 100%. No, I'm not talking about the concussion, but 100%. When Saru was like, "We're gonna put ourselves between, Michael and between, the Earth or whatever," and she was like, "Sir, we don't. Our shields are like not." And she's like, and she defied him for like a second, and I was like, "Oh my! Did anyone notice that?" Like she just told him no.
Well, and it's interesting because I feel bad. I forget the other helmsman's name.
Oh, Sheka?
Yeah, she's like, shields are at 100%. What's your problem? And then the first hit happens and their shields are completely knocked out. So it's like, it's this cool moment of like, Kayla is like, we don't know what we're dealing with.
Right.
What are you doing? And then everyone is like, are you okay? Like, do you not remember how this works? And then she's immediately proven right, but it's never addressed again. And I feel really bad for her.
Too, because I think she's going to be going through it a lot. And I think that's just, again, the concussion was the start of it. This is another part of
what happened? They played that up so much in episode 2.
It was like the bell ringing and all of that, like the ring, and they played that up. Oh, are you okay? Like, I can't hear you. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm present. And they did so much with that. They have to address it. I hope they do.
I'm skeptical that they're going to, because they didn't do anything in season or episode 3.
I'm also on that. That brings up another point of when are they going to start upgrading their technology? I know we're only like 2 episodes into Discovery being there, but their shield went down on one shot, and the
struggle needs to exist.
I mean, it does.
It does. Star Trek. Like, come on, we have to hear divert auxiliary. Like, we have to hear that.
No, 100% agree. But you got to also recognize that you are no match for any ship in the world in the entire universe. You have to at least ask, hey, can we have some of your newer shield technology?
No. Stamens needs to just do the blink dog.
Black alert.
He just mushroom spaces to the other side of the ship that's about to fire on you. That's way more entertaining. Way more frustrating.
They did do that. In what was it, season 1 when they got to the mirror? That was how
he just flops around. I think they were still using the tardigrade at that point, so I don't know if that
was Stamens. I think that was when he got lost in the.
Oh yeah.
That was when he started losing his mind, and he.
I think it's so much funnier. It's probably not the right call, and you're probably right. They probably will upgrade their. But from just like a flavor perspective, it would be so much better if they just adapt current technology.
Right.
And I can't take a hit, so I'm not going to stay in the same place long enough for you to fire at me. I think that's funny.
James doesn't want that. He's like, no.
That would be way better tactics in the fights than what they've been doing. But
that would actually also look better.
It would. But they also, they just have to, like, when they're having that negotiation, like, can we go to Earth? Also, can we have your shield technology? It's just a natural thing to throw in there, even if they're going to get rejected. And they should get rejected. Like, why should I share my 1,000-year advanced technology with these randos that I just met? Absolutely. But at least throw the thing out there.
Yeah.
Right. I think the awesome part about it was, if you do let us in, right? Hey, why don't you share, like, a lot of us are from Earth, so what's up? Like, share some technology with us.
I don't know that I would ask her of any, like.
I wouldn't have asked her.
We kind of got derailed from talking about her, the defense president or whatever. I really just quickly wanted to throw in that I super appreciated her flexibility, because she came out as a total hard ass. She dealt with the situation in the way that defended Earth the most, but as she got more information, she changed her mind.
Yes.
Like, the more she interacted with Discovery, the more willing she was to bend protocol or grant permissions. And like, that's good leadership. Like,
100%.
She took the stance of, I'm protecting my people, and now that you have demonstrated you're trustworthy, I will give a little bit. But I would not have asked her for anything. Like, I feel like that boon of my crew being able to get on Earth.
Push your luck.
Is Saru gonna push his luck?
No, not Captain Saru. Maybe like First Officer Saru. Ever since he lost his ganglia, he would have done it. No, you don't think ganglia less Saru would have done it?
Never refer him that way again.
I don't know, but no, I did ultimately, I did like this episode. I thought it was kind of fun, and then the end where we finally see, because again, if you're going to build this season as a crew type thing, that is a moment that you want to have happen a lot, and so that happening was something I really enjoyed. For the crew to sit there, it's also interesting seeing the lady who plays Ariam, or who played Ariam, play a different character as her human self.
I totally missed that.
Ariam is the robot lady that got taken over by Control.
Okay. I totally missed that.
So if you go back to season 2,
I mean, I remember her, like, Ariam in the mind.
Yeah, when they're doing her flashbacks, you can see the human side of her, and then whatever happened to her happened, and she became the cyborg or whatever. And the lady that played her inside of all of the prosthetics actually gets to still be on the show as herself, but she's playing someone else, and she's also a bridge member and a bridge crew member, and it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
It's kind of cool. Like, it's I'm glad they did that. It's like, hey, we're not gonna kick you off, but we're gonna give you something else to do. You're important, so it's kind of cool.
That's cool. I do also really like that. Even though it's not a Federation officer, we still have the token cat pet. Like, the token pet is present.
Yes,
she's a queen.
I miss Porthos. I think that's the best pet on any Star Trek show.
I feel like Porthos is the best part of that show. So,
you know what? Let's not. Anyways, we didn't. So characters we didn't see. We didn't get any Jet. What happened with that? Like this, it would have been very cool to see Jet, Stamets, and 16-year-old. Like, all interact. That, like, 100%. Because I think whatever she would have been saying to Stamets, Jet would have been like, like laughing in his face, like, see, I told you. Like, I 100% would have adored that. So no hard ass security officer, of course, because Georgia was there to be hard ass, and so we didn't get those two characters. So hopefully we get them back next episode or sometime, because it would be kind of a shame if we don't get any more Jet. I'm
sure we'll get more Jet. Right? She's in the opening credits now. So.
Right. So yeah, that is Discovery episode 3. Thank you, James. Again, thank you, Stephanie, for coming. I really, really do have a lot of fun doing this. I mean, we've been talking for almost an hour. I really do enjoy breaking the episode down, but this is the fun part. I wasn't gonna let anyone know. Hold on. Before we go, James, come on. You owe us something.
Oh, a story.
Ooh. You owe us something.
I think. What? Well, let's just do the milkshake story.
Let's do the milkshake story.
Yes, milkshake.
So, Patrick and I worked at Uncle's together.
Right.
So we would do conventions, and one of the traditions after doing PAX was that the teardown crew would all go out to get food because the teardown is grueling, physical, and it goes late into the night. So, like, it would be done at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we'd go out and get food together. This particular year, the only person that wanted to go out to food was Patrick. So it was me, Steph, and Patrick, just the three of us at Red Robin, I think.
Yeah.
And we might have gotten done earlier because Red Robin's not open at 3 in the morning, but just the three of us. And we just got milkshakes.
And it just set the scene a little bit. We're all delirious. Like after a 4-day convention with very little sleep, you're exhausted, your brain doesn't work. It's a rough.
Yeah, we've been working like 16-hour days for 4 days straight. We're
yikes.
And longer, really. Maybe not. You were on demo team, but Patrick and I longer because you also have the setup time, which is also like a week. Anyway, we're sitting there laughing, having a good time, and Patrick's eating his milkshake. He finishes what's in the glass, and at Red Robin they give you a tumbler with more milkshake in it. And how does he? Do you remember how he goes about it?
He was trying to pour the metal into the glass. Right, so that he's not drinking it out of the metal tumbler, but back to the glass.
It doesn't flow, right?
It's kind of stuck. It's a little slushy, a little frozen, so it doesn't like pour out. And so he like just keeps doing this,
and then he looks at it, and then
like it's really thick, and then all of a sudden like the melted liquid that's on the top slips under the half frozen. And it just
whole thing
explodes all over the table, the floor. There's like a print around him on the booth seat. And so we die laughing. We call the waitress over to get a bunch of napkins.
Also, Patrick's face is just the most disappointed face you've
ever seen. So sad, heartbreak.
He didn't say anything. His face was just like pure disappointment.
My gosh.
So we call the waitress over. We need help, right? Mm-hmm. She gets us a bunch of napkins. She kind of laughs with us a little bit, but is also like, I have to wipe this down.
Yeah.
And then, so we're all helping him try to get the milkshake stuff together. Mm-hmm. And he re-spills it on himself because he makes too much of a pile on the table and it spilled over the edge back into his lap for a second time. Peak Patrick.
We bring this up every now and then. Every now and then it'll show up photos or whatever. And I'll just tweet it or send a message to his wife. Mm-hmm. She wasn't there, but just let her know, hey, we haven't forgotten about this.
Man.
We got him a gift card for milkshakes for his birthday.
Yeah, I think last year.
This is gonna be so good.
Appreciation, but also stop reminding me of this at the same time on his face.
I gave him the gift card in a bundle of napkins from the milkshake place.
That is great.
So all of you want the chat. If you know Patrick, just get him milkshake gift cards.
This is gonna be so great. I'm telling everyone to get him. Oh yes, thank you so much for this.
This is what you get, Patrick. This is what you get. Join us.
Right, because he did get the notification. I sent the same link I sent to him. Anyways, but this is what I was saving. We didn't do it last season, but we're gonna come back. We're gonna do it this season. The Mandalorian. We're gonna start reviewing The Mandalorian, and I can't wait because I saw episode 1 and I'm like, oh my god!
I binged season 1. I watched 2 episodes Thursday night. I watched the other 6 episodes yesterday, and then we watched season 2 last night. So
yes, same. I watched season 2 last night, and I can't wait to talk about it. Big secret: James and Stephanie are going to be back to talk about it with us. So yay, right? I also heard James is more enthused about that. So
I love Star Wars more than I love Star Trek.
Where I'm the Star Trek, he's the Star Wars.
I like Star Trek.
Amazing.
Other fandoms.
I love it. This is great. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about Mando. It was really good. I have so much to talk about, so I'm not going to do it here. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you, James and Stephanie, for coming. Thank you for the awesome milkshake story. This is so great. See you guys see you guys for Mando, and see you guys next week for more Star Trek Discovery.